Welcome back, everyone. This is a pre-Appalachian Trail video, and today I'm going to be discussing how I did my planning, a few of the logistics, and maybe a couple of the fears that I have preparing for this grand adventure. So with that being said, let's dig in. My planning for the Appalachian Trail began several years ago, and what I did was just dive wholeheartedly into the subject matter, and that included videos and web pages and print material. And I basically learned everything that I could about the trail itself. Do I remember it all? Hell no. But anyway, I learned about the terrain I might experience, the weather I might experience, what some of the elevations are, and how far resupplies would be, and all of that. There's just such a wealth of information out there, and I highly suggest, if you are planning a through hike of the Appalachian Trail, or any trail for that matter, dig into the subject matter as much as you can and learn about the trail. Get yourself mentally prepared of what you could possibly experience. And so that is what I did. As far as gear and equipment, that began around the same time too. Again, digging in headlong into all of the different backpacks and the sleeping systems and everything. And I narrowed a lot of my gear down to what I thought would work, and I've been very fortunate that most of the stuff that I did eventually purchase really worked out for me. There were very few replacement items. And so far, so good. What I've been using has been working, and I hope that continues. And if not, then I will obviously have to tweak it and swap some of these items out once I get out there. But so far, in the few hikes that I've used this gear, it's been great for me, and hopefully that's going to continue. So again, just to reiterate, dig into and research and do all that you can to learn about what you're getting yourself into, whether it be the AT, PCT, CDT, smaller trails. Hell, if you're just going for a weekender, learn about the trail, know what you're getting yourself into so you can properly prepare. And that is probably some of the best advice that I could give you as far as planning. Just be prepared. Don't overpack. And make sure that you're equipped to handle the situation you might face out there. Next up, we're going to talk about the logistics of how I will resupply what I have planned for that, and how am I getting to the trail, how am I leaving the trail. I've been asked several times, where will I leave my vehicle? Am I going to store my vehicle for the months that I'm going to be gone? And that answer is no, I'm not storing my vehicle, and no, I'm not leaving my vehicle. I'm fortunate enough to drive there and get dropped off. So my plan is, first of all, I live approximately 10 and a half hours away from Amicalola Falls State Park. So I will drive 8 to 9 hours on the Saturday before I leave, find some lodging for that evening, and then get up the next morning, which will be a Sunday, eat a good breakfast, drive a couple hours to the state park, and then check in at the visitor center there, do my ATC presentations that are required to get your hang tag for the backpack, which is trout lily yellow this year, in case you did not know. And I plan on hopefully meeting some other hikers there, and whoever else might be around the visitor center, and then explore the visitor center itself, because I've been told that they've expanded it. They've included a lot of materials and displays and whatnot, and they've done a really good job at the construction of that visitor center there. And then on that Sunday, I plan on hiking the first mile of the approach trail, which is the Falls Trail that goes up Amicalola Falls, the dreaded stairs. Now, from what, at the time of filming this video, I think some of the stairs are under construction, so you have to take either the east or west trail, which really does not matter to me. What I'll probably do is take the western trail, because I think that halfway up the falls you can get back onto the stairs and finish the climb to the top of the falls near the lodge. And that covers the Saturday. The Saturday night, I do have lodging there at Amicalola Falls State Park Lodge. I booked that right at a year ago to make sure that I had a place to stay. Next morning will be a Monday morning, and I will put my foot down on the rest of the approach trail very early and hopefully get to Springer Mountain and actually start the Appalachian Trail somewhere around lunch. Maybe a little later. I'm not going to push myself hard. I'm just going to take it easy because I don't want to be injured. A lot of people start off really fast and have no experience or little experience with hiking, and it wreaks havoc upon their through hike plans. So logistically, that is a major factor for me, is taking my time and working my body into the miles that I eventually want to hike per day. It's not going to come easy, and it's not going to come right in the beginning. So I think I mentioned that in the fitness video that I've done, 8 to 10 miles a day, maybe pushing 12 depending on how I'm feeling. But 10 is my magic number, and that's what I'm going to shoot for, at least for the first 2 weeks, until I can get what they call trail legs underneath me. Hopefully that does happen, and I become stronger and more agile and accustomed to hiking those kind of miles every day, and eventually adding more mileage in until I can get to where I can walk as much as I want, almost as much as I want every day. The next thing that logistically would be how am I going to get food? So in the southern, most of the AT, except for the very northern portions, it is my understanding that you should reach a town or have access to a road that'll get you into town every 3 to 4 days. While I don't want to spend a heck of a lot of time in towns every 3 to 4 days, I would like to maybe get a shower, do some laundry, and definitely resupply with food. I will begin with a 5-day supply because I want to experience that full weight at the beginning to know exactly what I'm going to be carrying, what it feels like, and get my body accustomed to maneuvering with that kind of weight on my back. Once I get to my first resupply point, which will probably be Neil's Gap at the 4 to 5 day mark, depending on how I'm doing, and I'll adjust my food accordingly to where my next stop will be. I'll get on all trails and see what the mileage is and how many days I plan on spending, and probably always carry an extra day of food with me just in case I get injured or something happens where I'm not making the miles. I don't want to be held to a deadline. So that's my plan with the resupply. Shuttles, far out, I'm going to be using that if I need to get into town, if I need to get off trail for some reason. A lot of the shuttle information is included on the Far Out app. I'm in a couple of Facebook groups. They also have a wealth of information as far as shuttles, White Blaze, and the AT Guide also has shuttle information, as well as hostels and hotels, which brings me to my next topic. As far as logistics go, is sleeping arrangements. When I'm not on trail, or I decide to take a zero, or I just want a comfortable bed, I'm going to find whatever is available, whether it be hostel, hotel, and if nothing's available, well, then I have my room on my back, and that'll be my tent, my sleep kit. I mean, it is what it is, and actually is a hiking trail. So it's not going to always work out perfectly, and I realize that, and that's my plan. So the AT this year is 2,197.4 miles. And then just as a reminder for those of you who don't know or are just new to the channel or don't have a clue what the Appalachian Trail is, it is the longest footpath only footpath in the world. It means nobody travels it other than on foot. It is not the longest trail in the world, but some of those other trails share with horseback, mules, and whatnot, motorcycles. That hopefully I can finish in a reasonable amount of time and not have to change plans. If I see that my hike is taking longer and that I'm not going to reach Katahdin by October 15th, or that the weather's becoming really inclement and they're going to close Baxter State Park, then I will do my best to flip-flop, which means I will get off trail where I am and get to Baxter State Park, summit Katahdin, then come back down and turn around and head southbound from Katahdin. It's one of those things, and that'll kind of bring me into my fears. And that's probably my biggest, is not getting to Katahdin on time, because for some reason I have it in my head that I'm leaving Georgia and I'm going to walk to Maine, and that's how I want to do it. I want to finish in time. I don't want to have to flip-flop, because it's just not what I have planned. Once I plan something, I like to see the plan through. Everybody that knows me knows that's how I am. But I will mentally prepare myself for the fact that that's a great potential of me having to change my plans. That is really the only thing that, the only schedule that I have that I will be following, is just basically get to Katahdin before it closes. While we're on the subject of fears, food is a big fear of mine. Not fear as in scared, but it's just an anxiety and a worry that I have in my head. I want to be able to consume enough food and calories to keep myself going at a healthy level every day. I know it's going to be hard, and I really don't want to have to pack real heavy food, but I'm going to do my best to make sure that happens. And it's just basically a big concern of mine. So when I say fear, that's what I mean. The other thing is injury. I really want to be cautious not to injure myself, especially an overuse injury. That is got to be one of the most detrimental things to a through hike, or any hike, is overuse. And I experienced that on a little old weekend hike we did beginning of December of 2023. Here, it's a trail here locally. It wasn't but 24 miles, but I pushed ridiculously hard that first day. I think I ended up between 15 and 16 miles, which is, for someone that hasn't hiked in months, is ridiculous. Especially at my age. I'm 48, so I'm not exactly fresh out of high school or college. I should have scaled that back, and I should have done another. The first day should have split it up, 12 and 12. It would have made an even 24, which the trail is 24.3 or 5 or something like that. Just a hair over 24 miles. But we pushed to that length of distance, and it kind of wreaked havoc on some of my joints. I was able to finish the trail, don't get me wrong, but it was very uncomfortable. So that's why I'm kind of dialing it back and shooting between that 8 and 12 mile per day mark to start off with. And that is my plan for that. Not really a plan, but it's kind of one of my concerns. I don't want to get injured. The other thing is the mental side of things. The Appalachian Trail it's a long trail. It's day in, day out of walking, getting rained on, getting your feet wet, getting muddy, crossing streams. You will run a gamut of environmental variables, if you will. It's, weather, terrain, all that good stuff. And when I say mental, it just becomes a real strain, on your mind, because you're going to have a lot of time to think. Your mind's going to wander and start questioning yourself. Well, why in the world are you doing this to yourself? That kind of thing. So just trying to put myself in the right frame of mind that, yeah, it's going to be bad. It's going to suck. Expect the worst. That is my plan. And then when it turns out better, it's just icing on the cake. So mental preparation is and will remain a big concern of mine, especially getting into the longer parts in the trail, being away from home, being away from my people. And I do realize there'll be other people on the trail, and they'll become my people, hopefully. So that's an aspect that I'm looking forward to experiencing, and that's getting to know the other hikers. I know all the hikes that I've done thus far leading up to this, which nothing being more than about 5 days. Everybody I've experienced and come across on the trail has been great. It's just an atmosphere that you don't experience in everyday life. I mean, everybody's been very pleasant, and I'm grateful for that, and I really look forward to diving headlong into meeting other hikers on the trail. But that's about it for today. I just wanted to throw that out there as far as how I got to this point, which right now, by the time you see this, I'll be a few weeks out still before I step off at Amicalola Falls. But I just want to talk a little bit about today, how I went into the planning and logistics and all that good stuff. I'm trying not to adhere to any strict itinerary. I want to be able to roll with the punches. If I'm tired, I don't want to have to walk that day, and I happen to be in town and I want to take a zero or a Nero. Zero meaning 0 miles that day. Nero, for those of you who don't know, is near zero. So I don't want to adhere to a strict itinerary. I want to be able to be very flexible and kind of roll with the punches, if you will. And enjoy as much of the trail as I possibly can, because that's what I'm out there for. So with that being said, I appreciate you tuning in. If you haven't, click that subscribe button right there, that little logo, that'll get you right there. Share, like, comment. Got questions? I'll be glad to answer anything that you ask. Well, almost anything. Be careful with that. And that's about it. So I'll see you next time. Until then, get outdoors.